Okay, well, I am Peter Larson. I'm in the lovely home here in Bet Hanina of Samia Khoury. Samia and I have become friends over some period of time. And you were just telling me a little bit about some of your experiences as a young girl. We started off talking about your experiences in Safed, which is in the north of Israel, in the Galilee. And you were talking about your relationships that you remember having with your Jewish neighbors. We're now talking about before the Nakba, sometime in the early 40s, and contrasting it to the kinds of experiences that young Palestinian men and women have today with Jews. Say that again a bit, what we were talking about.
Yeah, we had neighbors in Safed actually. They were Jewish neighbors. And we had Muslim neighbors, and Palestine was, we all knew ourselves as Palestinians.
And you, of course, you were Christian yourself.
We were as a Christian, and we had Jewish neighbors and Muslim neighbors.
Right.
And it was all one community. I mean, it was, of course, everybody had their own traditions. And I remember in Safed, for instance, we didn't have electricity. So our Jewish neighbors were observant Jews, and they would light their lanterns before the Shabbat. Mm-hmm. And if for some reason it went out, you know, they would holler and call one of us to strike the match and light it again.
Right.
So it was a very normal and social way of life and so on.
You make it sound, from that description, more like what we would think of in Canada today, where people are Jewish or Muslim or Christian, and it is of no particular importance.
Now, this is stressed very much, unfortunately, because Israel wants it to be a Jewish state. So for us, I mean, it becomes a problem. And our children, unfortunately, have not experienced this. I mean, they don't know a Jew as a human being. They know them as soldiers only, who are harassing them at checkpoints.
So you're saying when you grew up, you had Jewish neighbors. Now your children don't have Jewish neighbors?
No, of course not. No, after '67, no. Our area is occupied area.
But just to clarify, you don't have a house of Jews here and a house of Christians here and a house of Muslims there. No.
The Jews are all either in Israel proper or in the settlements, and the settlements are all property that was taken from Palestinians and so on. There might be some Israeli Arabs or the Palestinians who remained in Israel,
right?
Which are labeled as Israeli Arabs.
Correct.
They don't call them Palestinian Arabs. They call themselves Palestinians. But Israel calls them Israeli Arabs.
When you were in Safed, for example, you were in school. Now, you were probably in a Christian school, were you? Or not?
Well, actually, we were boarders. We didn't go to school in Safed. We were boarding in Birzeit.
I see.
Our school. Irrespective where we lived in Palestine, we were always boarders in Birzeit.
Okay. So in those days, even in those days, it would be normal that Christians would go to Christian schools, Jews would go to Jews.
It depends. It depends. Like my aunts tell me that they used to go to the Jerusalem Girls College. They had a mixture of Jews, Christians, and Muslims.
And that's not the case today.
No, now the schools are, of course, only the schools are for. The Christian schools are mixed, actually. The Christian schools have Muslims and Christians.
Yes, I have taught at the St. George's School. That's right. Yeah.
The Rosary Sisters.
But it's taught in Arabic, and there are no Jews that go there. It's not. The Jews are taught in Hebrew. So there's quite a separation between.
Of course.
Okay. All right. Now I hear from other Palestinians that earlier on, Christians, Muslims, and Jews traded together, worked together, and now it seems so different from what appears to be the current reality.
That's changed completely. Yeah. And unfortunately, this is why I say this generation, my children and grandchildren, to them a Jew is an Israeli soldier. That's their image of a Jew.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Samia. And nice talking to you.